Welcome to Meeple Mentor. I'm Jared and we're about to play Pendulum. Let's take a look. I'll show you how. Feel free to pause the video as needed to follow along with your copy of the game. For your convenience, I've added chapter timestamps in the description to the different sections of the tutorial. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell below the video so you don't miss any of my latest content. The world of Pendulum is called Dunya. The gods created this world, but it was a time of chaos where violence ruled. The dragons dominated over the lands, unmatched in power. They ruled through suffering and misery, known as the Time of Darkness. A man named Circel received favor from Gahael, the god of the changing seasons and keeper of time. Circel was given immortality and was able to overthrow the dragons. He became known as the Timeless King and gave peace to Dunya for centuries, known as the Time of Order. Eventually, the Timeless King mysteriously vanished, leaving the Empire in calamity. This was the time of change. Gahael had forged an iron clock in the Grand Plaza of Montbrier. This clock would continue ticking as long as the Timeless King ruled. Now, the pendulum hangs motionless below the glass of its clock face. No one is able to move it to start it again, no matter how hard they try. Legend holds that the new leader qualified to rule will be able to swing the pendulum again to restart the clock and mark the beginning of a new era. With this backstory in mind, players of Pendulum take on the roles of powerful nobles trying to succeed the Timeless King as the true ruler of Dunya. They'll command workers, execute stratagems, and expand the provinces in their domain. Players act in real time to gain military, culture, gold, and even votes to raise their power, prestige, and popularity. However, nobles must show they are the most fit to rule by accomplishing a legendary achievement. Without that, hope is lost. Pendulum is a worker placement game where players will be simultaneously taking actions. The board actions are controlled by sand timers of varying speed. The game is unique in this way as you must wait for the timer to finish and move before you can do your planned actions. Part of the strategy is not only which actions to take, but when to flip the timers. Don't get scared off by the timers though. Playing fast doesn't mean you'll win. You should manage your time more effectively than your opponents if you want to win. Let's take a look at the game. Place the main game board in the center of the table, showing the side for your number of players. There's a 1 to 3 player side and a 4 to 5 player side. Place the council board on the table nearby with its cardboard reference tile. Place the gold council reward card here on the board. Find the blue council reward cards with the trophy on the front. Shuffle these and remove 10 from the game. Shuffle the 5 red final council reward cards and place them on the council board with the shuffled blue cards on top. Deal 5 off the top to the remaining open spots on the council board. Place the color matching timers on the topmost gold circles in each board area. Add the 3 purple time markers on the remaining gold circles of the purple board area. Shuffle the red achievement cards and set them here on the board. Reveal the topmost card and place the legendary achievement token in the middle of the card. If playing a 2 or 3 player game, put the token on the achievement card deck. You won't be able to earn it in the first round of the game. In future rounds, you'll put it on the card like normal. Now shuffle up the square province cards and place them on the board in this section. Then reveal 4 face-up cards to sit in the display. Randomly pass out a character mat to each player. They are 2-sided with a standard side and an advanced side. There will be small white text near the bottom explaining if that side is for advanced play or not. It's highly recommended to not use those sides until everyone's played the game once. Let them choose their color workers and collect 2 grande workers, 3 common workers, 1 achievement marker, and 1 privilege marker. Each player puts 1 grande worker and 1 common worker on their mat. Place one of their grande workers near the council board to be earned later in the game. Players' other common workers can sit nearby but are unavailable at the beginning of the game. The achievement token can sit next to their character mat. The victory point tokens should be placed on the furthest left space of the colored tracks on each player's character mat. Give each player a worker action summary card, 10 vote tokens, 2 10-vote chips, 10 red, 10 blue, 10 yellow resource cubes, and a set of victory point tokens. Any extra resources should return to the box. Players are limited to these resources from their personal general supply. The only exception is the voting tokens. The character mats will show a symbol unique to the character and the side being used. Give each player the 4 blue stratagem cards with the matching symbol on the backs. These will be your hand of cards, which can be held or sat above your character mat. You can choose to keep them face up or face down. The character mats have 4 resource boxes to hold available resources. The number shown in the boxes is the starting resources. Place that many cubes or vote tokens in them from each player's own personal supply. Take each player's hexagonal privilege marker and randomize their order on the privilege track. Add them from top to bottom. The timer track board is only used if you don't want to play the game with the real-time use of timers. If you use it, place a gray timer token at the top of the track. I'll add here that the rulebook recommends you play the first round this way while everyone gets familiar with the game. I'll explain how this is used in the variants section of the tutorial. Before starting the game, each player will get to place a grande worker in a bottom row action space on the board. Do this one at a time in privilege order. Then, players may place one of their common workers in a bottom row action space following the same privilege order. However, the small common workers have placement restrictions in the green and purple areas. I'll explain about that in a bit. Should you be playing a 2-player game, grab a neutral colors pieces and place a worker in the 4 smaller action spaces in the green and purple areas before placing your initial workers. Then add the neutral colors privilege token to the 3rd spot on the privilege track. Put 3 of their vote tokens next to it or on its token as a reminder that this neutral player always acts as if it has 3 votes. Pendulum's gameplay is unique in that it is done in real time, simultaneously. There are no turns. Anyone may act during a round as they see fit, following the basic rules of the game. 4 rounds take place before the game ends. After each round, a short council phase happens, where votes determine the rewards players receive. The prestige track is reordered by most votes, giving victory points to the highest spots. No matter where you fall, everyone will always gain a stratagem card reward as found on the council board. When players gain resources, they'll move cubes or vote tokens from their general supply to their mat. When spending these resources, return them to your own supply. Everyone is limited to having 10 red, blue, or yellow cubes at a time. There is no limit to the number of votes you can gain, so use the 10-vote chip if needed. Players may never trade anything among them. Any stratagem cards players have available to them may be used any time during a round. Gain what's shown and place the card on their player mat in the designated area. Some actions may have a cost to play to use them. You'll see an arrow in the center of the action. You must pay what is shown on top to gain the reward on the bottom. You may never gain the reward more than once by paying the cost again. The red shield icon refers to your red cubes, known as military. The blue is known as culture, and the yellow is gold. During the game, the timers will be flipped over and alternate between the top and bottom rows of their areas. Never flip a timer and keep it in the same row. It always switches rows. Timers can be moved like this by any player, but never while it still has sand running. The timer must completely run out before anyone's allowed to flip it and move it to the opposite side. When a player flips the timer like this, as soon as it is picked up, it is treated as it's instantaneously on the other side. The 2 rows of each area are identical. Each row offers the same action choices. The purple and green areas of the board will require 2 gold to take the action. The black area will be free or cost military for one of its actions. There is no cost to place workers, only to take the action. Placing workers and doing the associated action happen at different times. Any number of workers can occupy the top and bottom areas of an action at a time. However, the common worker has extra placement restrictions. The small workers can only be placed in an empty action zone in the purple and green areas. The black area's actions do not restrict the common worker this way. You'll see the any worker icon here to remind you. The grande worker can be placed in any legal action area, regardless of number of workers present. Workers may only be picked up or placed on rows without a timer. As long as there are no timers in the row, you may pick up and move workers as you choose. In other worker placement games, you may be used to putting a worker and immediately taking the action, or waiting to pick it up. This doesn't hold true here. You may change your mind and move workers around to any rows without a timer. Just follow the other worker rules that I just mentioned about the common workers. The action never happens when you place your worker. Instead, the timer must be moved to your row in order for your workers to take the action itself. While the timer is in your row, you may pay whatever cost is needed and slide your worker down to the reward area and gain what it says. You may do this at any point the timer still sits in the row, even if the sand is run out. No one is required to move a sand timer, but anyone is allowed to once all the sand has fallen. Remember that after gaining the rewards of the action, you must leave your worker there. You cannot pick it up until the timer has moved off your row. This is your incentive to move the timer, as you'll run out of available workers. The purple timer runs 3 minutes, the green timer 2 minutes, and the black timer 45 seconds. There are ways to gain more workers, but no one may have more than 4 at a time. Occasionally, there may be disagreements on timing, with more than one player trying to do something first. If there's a conflict of timing order, refer to the current privilege track. Whoever is higher on the Imperial privilege track can claim privilege and determine the resolution. The purple timer will determine when a round is over, and when to proceed to the council phase. Each time the purple timer flips, place it on a gold circle occupied by a time marker and knock it off the board. As soon as this timer knocks off the third time marker, the council is called. Whoever does this must announce to all players a call to council. This means no timers may be flipped anymore. Once players have finished what they want to or can do, the game pauses for the council phase. Players may still use workers as is allowed by the rules without moving or flipping any timers. Achievements can be claimed and stratagem cards can still be used. Refer to the council reference tile. The backside walks you through the steps to take. Proceed to the council phase without picking up workers. Once begun, no other actions can be taken except to refill the province cards. First, arrange the players' privilege tokens on the track from most votes to least. For ties, reverse their order to each other. Then all players discard their earned votes to their supply. Now, players will gain rewards in the new privilege order. First place will gain a council reward and 2 victory points, either the red, blue, or yellow tracks. The second and third place will also gain victory points, except for the 2 to 3 player board side. There, only second place gets a victory point. Each player will always get to claim a council reward card. Just go in privilege order. The bottom left reward printed on the council board is always an option to choose as your council reward. Simply gain 1 victory point in one of the colors shown. Red is power, blue is prestige, and yellow is popularity. The Grande Worker reward card is never removed. Instead, once a player's chosen it, flip it upside down to mark it as used. No other player may choose it this phase. The reward lets you convert a common worker into a Grande Worker. Each player is restricted to 2 Grande Workers. The other 5 cards on the council will be random. Any card with a lightning bolt icon in its corner gives you its reward immediately and is discarded from the game. The cards with the sun icon are stratagem cards permanently added to your hand. These can be used when you like and can be picked up again like any other stratagem card. The final 5 cards of the game are always the same, which will offer ways to earn points. When choosing one, you must pay the cost shown to gain the points. You may not choose one of these if you cannot complete it. Since the rewards are varied in usefulness, having first pick by investing in votes really helps. After gaining rewards, players should discard down to 2 province cards per slot of their character map. You may choose which 2 to keep for each. After the 4th council phase, the game ends. The reward cards will help keep track. If not the end of the game, you should prepare for the next round to start. To do that, flip the Grande Worker card back upright if it was chosen. Discard any unchosen council cards and draw 5 new ones. Remove the 4 face-up province cards and deal 4 new ones. ones. Players may pick up their achievement tokens from the card if they claimed it this round. Discard the current achievement card and draw a new one for the next round. Return the legendary achievement token to the board on top of the newly revealed card. Place the purple time marker tokens on the 3 empty gold circles in the purple area. Before starting up the timers again, players are allowed to move or place workers according to the normal rule restrictions. Let all timers finish before starting a new round. Since this is a pause in the real time of the game, this is a good time if anyone needs a bathroom break or needs to get a drink or something. Once everyone has agreed that they're ready to start the next round, flip all 3 timers simultaneously. Remember to flip them to their other rows, not where they are. The actions in the game use a lot of iconography to indicate their rewards or costs to take them. Once you're familiar with them, understanding the action's effects becomes intuitive. In the black area, you'll find 4 possible actions. 3 of them have no cost. This one lets you gain 1 resource cube of your choice, up to the 10 cube limit of course. This action gives you 1 vote token. Place anything gained in your resource boxes on your map. The yellow banner with the question mark is an action that lets your provinces produce. Take a look at the bottom of your mat. You'll see 4 columns with octagons that have different background colors. Within the octagons are rewards. The yellow banner action here gives you all the rewards in the yellow column, which is the 4th column in your mat. All rewards shown in the column are earned. The last action available in the black area is the Conquer Province action. You must spend 4 military resource cubes from your mat to your supply to take the action. Spend this first before completing the action. Take one of the 4 face-up province cards or one off the top of the deck. If you pull one from the face-up display, you may replace one there from the deck if you want to be nice. Otherwise, any player can replace the empty space as needed. Each province card has a reward that can be added to any of the 4 columns on your mat. Rotate the card so the octagon's color background matches the column to place it. Slide it under the mat so the reward is visible. You'll create a column of rewards by sliding cards under the stack this way. There's no limit to how many province cards can be added to a column. The council phase will require you to discard down to 2 each, but during a round, there's no limit. Generally, the kind of rewards found on the card will be indicated by the card background color. Once you place the province card, it may not be moved or reassigned. The green area has 3 actions possible, found duplicated on the upper and lower rows. The common worker may only be placed in an empty gold frame action space. Each action has a 2 gold cost to it. Only pay the cost when moving your worker down once the timer returns to the row. Pay the 2 gold from your mat to your supply before gaining the rewards. This reward gives you 2 popularity points. Just move your scoring token 2 spaces to the right on the yellow track. This reward gives you 2 vote tokens and 1 power victory point. Place the gained votes on your player mat. There's no limit to how many you can hold. The last action here is red production. You should gain all rewards shown in the 2nd column of your player mat. Remember, the red color refers to the octagon color, not the reward icon's color. The purple area has the same restrictions as the green area with respect to using the common workers. The space must be empty when placing it. There are 3 actions possible here, which all cost 2 gold. Once the timer returns to your worker's row, you may slide your worker down to gain the rewards. Pay the gold just before taking the reward. This action gives you a popularity victory point and a prestige victory point. Move the tokens on your character mat. Additionally, gain 1 vote token. The other 2 actions are production actions. The blue octagon with the question mark lets you gain all the rewards in your 3rd column. The brown octagon icon lets you gain the rewards on everything shown in your 1st column, which is typically power victory points. The stratagem cards you start with, and the permanent ones gained as a council reward, are all free actions you may take. The only time you can't play them is during a council phase. Choose a card from your available hand of cards and gain the reward printed. Then discard it to your player mat in the space for them. If there's a cost, shown by an arrow pointing downwards in the center, pay what's on top to gain the rewards at the bottom. The only way to use the cards again is to take the Pick Up Stratagems action. The cost is shown to the left of the Pick Up Cards icon, right above the played cards. On the standard mat side, it costs 5 culture. Simply remove 5 blue resource cubes from your mat and put them in your supply to pick up the cards. You can pick up cards even if you haven't played them all. All the possible stratagem cards are described in detail in the rulebook on page 23. If there are ever open slots for province cards on the board, any player may deal cards off the deck to refresh them. No one's required to do it, but players wanting to gain a province card would surely want to see all their options instead of drawing blind. The open slots can always be refreshed at any time, even during the council phase. The current round's achievement card will sit face up for any players to claim during the round. The resources shown in the top area of the card are the minimum requirements to claim the achievement. Nothing needs to be spent. It's just a check that you have what's shown when you claim it. After claiming the achievement, you could spend those resources for something without losing the achievement. At any point in the round, if you qualify for it, you can place your octagonal achievement marker into one of the open spaces on the card. If the legendary achievement token is still on the card and you haven't yet gained the legendary achievement victory point on your character mat, you may take the token and earn the point. If you already earned it once or it's already been taken, you must take the reward shown on the bottom of the card instead. You'll never take the legendary achievement token and the rewards on the card. It's one or the other. Any number of players may gain the card rewards shown at the bottom. Leave your token on the card. You will claim it back during the council phase. Any player may choose to flip a timer to its other row as long as the sand timer has run completely out. There's no other special requirement or action to take to flip a timer. While not an action per se, remember that whoever flips the purple timer and knocks off the third purple time token should immediately call council. It needs to be announced so everyone knows not to flip any more timers. However, gameplay continues until everyone says that they're done. After the 4th council phase, the game ends. The council reward cards will help you keep track, as in the 4th round, the 5 final red council rewards are dealt on the council board. Check everyone's victory point positions on their mats. Any player who has moved all 4 color markers into the parchment area of the mat is declared the winner and the new timeless ruler of Dunya. If more than one player achieved this feat, then whoever has gained the most points in the parchment will win. Consider each advancement within the parchment as a point. If still tied, the player with the higher privilege will be the winner. Should no one have all 4 VP markers in the parchment, then look to any players who have gained the legendary achievement point. Among them, look at their lowest scoring victory track furthest from the parchment. Whoever's lowest scoring track is closer to the parchment will be the winner. For this reason, you should try during the game to advance equally among all the tracks. If tied, compare the next lowest track, and so on. If still completely tied, the player highest on the privilege track wins. If no one gained the legendary achievement point at all, there is no winner to the game. The nobles have collectively let the kingdom descend into civil war for an age. The first variant to playing Pendulum is using the advanced or experienced side of the character mats. Each character has specialties and variable starting production. They'll have a unique icon for their experienced side, which will provide you with a different set of starting stratagem cards. The resources needed to pick up used stratagem cards will be varied among characters. The starting resources are also different, allowing for more varied starting rounds. You may have experienced players using the variable sides, while others use the standard side. Each advanced character has a unique reference card you should take as well. Be sure to read through it front and back before starting. You can play Pendulum without timers. The timer track board can be used to ignore the real-time use of timers. To do so, place the timer track near the board with the gray time token in the topmost space. After everyone's placed their initial workers on the board at the start of the game, flip all the timers as depicted at the top of the track. Ignore the sand in the timers completely. No one is allowed to flip the timers like normal. Instead, take all your actions in real time and wait for everyone to say they're done or ready to continue. Players can take as much time as they want this way to prepare, ask questions, or generally troubleshoot their turn. Once everyone's ready, move the time token down the track to the next space and flip the indicated color timer. Continue with real-time actions until everyone's ready for the next timer to flip, again moving the token down. Once you reach the bottom of the track and flip all 3 timers, the call to council is automatic. No more timers will be flipped. After players complete their turns, proceed to the council phase. To continue using the track, reset the gray token to the top of the track before starting the next round. Players can collectively decide to use the time track board or not, but should agree at the beginning of each new round. The advanced variant can be used with players who feel they've mastered the game and can reach the ends of the victory point tracks before the final council phase. These extra rules give a greater challenge and could be a way of handicapping experienced players. Not everyone has to play by the advanced rules. The first rule applies to placing your workers on the board. You may now never place more than one of your own workers in the same gold frame action space. Other workers still do not prevent you from placing your Grande worker there, but now you couldn't place two Grande workers in the same space. The black area's actions still allow you to place your common worker without regard to other players' workers already there. If you have a worker there though, you may not place another. You are allowed to have more than one of your workers sitting in the reward area, having already completed the action and just not picked up yet. The second rule lets you gain victory points even when at the end of the track. When gaining more points from then on, you may gain 1 glory for each point you would gain past the track. Place a matching color resource cube from your supply into the point track. Each of these cubes represents extra points, but also reduces your maximum resources allowed to gain. Once a resource is converted to glory, it may not be picked up or converted back. You may not gain glory on the legendary achievement track. Some actions in the game may require you to spend victory points. You may not spend glory. You must move the VP marker. At the end of the game, if players are tied in number of victory points for the win, the player with the most glory points wins. If still tied, whoever has higher prestige wins. Pendulum follows Stonemeyer's familiar Automa method of adding 2 artificial opponents to the game. You may not add only one. You may add these Automa to replace 2 human players in a game with 1 to 2 people. When playing solo, you'll have 2 AI opponents. Use the 2 to 3 player side of the main game board. You'll use the 3-player rules, meaning the legendary achievement token is not available in the first round. The Automa players must follow the rules of the game as a normal player would, except as described here. They don't retrieve workers, move them to the bottom rewards box of an action space, nor place workers on the black action area. They won't gain any resources, just vote tokens and victory points. The Automa players don't gain victory points of different types. Any victory points earned are moved along its 1 VP track. When gaining points past the last space of a row, move it to the leftmost space of the row below it. The green spaces in the track are only used for glory points in the advanced variant of the game. They don't take actions, and during the real-time portion of the rounds, they're treated as 1. At all other times, they're treated as separate players. You may not use Automa in an untimed game. Automas will never gain achievements, even the legendary achievement. Choose 2 unused colors for the Automas. Randomize them in with the starting positions of the privilege track. Lay out the Automa scoring mat on the table nearby. Place the 2 achievement tokens for both Automa's colors on the round space with the VP icon left of the VP track. Place 1 common worker on the topmost Automa head and the other color's common worker on the bottommost head. You can choose a difficulty level for the Automas using the guide on page 8. They recommend starting at level B. Take the scoring card showing the associated Automa title to use. Shuffle all the Automa cards into a face-down Automa deck. Leave room for a discard pile. Collect their 4 Grande workers and 2 more from an unused color. Place 1 on each bottom row action space of the purple and green areas on the main board. The colors won't matter. Draw an Automa card. If it shows a Grande worker icon in a purple box, add another Grande worker to the remaining single width space of the purple area. If the card doesn't show a worker icon, place the Grande worker on the empty double wide space instead. Then draw another card and follow the same procedure for the green area. Now reshuffle the entire deck. The Automa's actions are controlled by its deck. The card will be drawn off the deck and resolved whenever one of 2 game events happens. If you move one of your workers off the bottom rewards box of an action space, trigger an Automa action before placing the worker on another space. Or if you flip the green or black timer while the purple timer has run out, you'll trigger an Automa action. When either of those happens, draw the top card of the deck and resolve it, then discard it. If the deck is empty, shuffle the discard pile to make a new deck to draw from. To resolve an Automa card, first check the left section of the card, which is its worker movement section. Move the specified worker. Then resolve the timer flips shown below it if possible. Lastly, if you see the province icons with one highlighted red, remove that card from the column of province cards. If the card has a worker within the purple square, move the leftmost worker on the row with the timer to the space the Automa isn't. If the worker icon is in the green square, do the same but for the worker in the green area. If the Automa has workers on both spaces where the timer is, move the leftmost one to the opposite row where there is not an Automa worker. To resolve the timer flips, check if either of these diagrams is shown on the card. The status of the timers is based on the moment you touch the Automa card. If the card has timers on them, check the purple timer first. If it has run out, flip it. If this is the second time the purple timer has been flipped, remove the legendary achievement token from the card if it's there. This prevents you from gaining it this round going forward. Move the knocked off purple time token to the box on the Automa scoring mat. If the purple time is still running, check the status of the green or black timer as shown on the card. If the timer is still running, don't flip it. If it has run out, flip it. Either way, a single Automa card will only ever flip one timer at maximum. Once you enter a council phase, resolve these additional Automa steps along with the steps shown on the council reference card. The Automa has an initial step before the printed step 1. Determine how many victory points each of the Automas gain. For each Automa, draw 3 cards off the top of its deck and align its right side icons. Overlap them with the printed section of its scoring mat. Add up the victory point icons in the center, then add the points for the current round as shown on the scoring card. For each purple time token collected, add a point to their total. The purple time tokens give points to both Automa players. During the privilege and vote step of the council phase, add up the votes shown on the cards drawn for each Automa, plus those showing on the scoring card. They gain 1 vote each for each time token on their mat as well. If the sum is negative, they get 0 votes. If more than 20, they just get 20. Adjust their position on the privilege track compared to all other players. When the Automa gets to gain rewards, give them the victory points based on their position the same way as if they were a human player. They can get between 0 and 2 points. Move their token on their VP track. To gain a council reward for the Automa, look at its 3 cards drawn at the bottom row. From left to right, check the bottom corner of the cards to find an icon that corresponds to a card currently on the council reward board. Discard the first council reward card that matches from the board from top to bottom, left to right. If the Automa has a Grande worker in this box on the scoring mat, ignore that particular reward and move on to the next one. If the Automa chooses the Grande worker reward, flip the card on the board like normal and give it a new Grande worker from an unused color and place it in the box for it on its mat. Go through this rewards check and give each Automa 1 reward this way. If none of the icons on their 3 cards matches a card on the board, simply give them 1 victory point instead. During this reward step of the final council phase, ignore these steps and the icons on the cards. If a human player doesn't yet have the legendary achievement victory point, the Automa will claim this final reward. Otherwise, the Automa will discard the reward card for the track where you are the furthest from the end. If a tie for 2 possible tracks, they'll take the one topmost on your mat. The Automas never gain province cards, so they can skip the maximum check step. During the round setup step, shuffle all the Automa cards and place them face down to create a new, fresh deck. The last step is placing and moving workers before the timers start. If you remove a worker from the bottom rewards area of a row at this point, you'll trigger an Automa action. However, only do the worker movement part of the card. Then proceed to the next round as normal by flipping all the timers. At the end of the game, the Automas are always considered to have earned the legendary achievement. If you don't at least have the achievement, you lose to the Automas. If you and the Automa have both completely reached the parchment area and would be the winners, compare the number of spaces in the Automa's parchment area with the total spaces across your 4 parchment scoring spaces. Whoever has the most will be the winner. If neither you or the Automas have reached the parchment areas, but you have at least gained the legendary achievement victory point, compare your distance to the parchment area on your worst track with the Automas. To check the Automa's distance, refer to the negative number of the space its token is on or the space just in front of it. Should one of the Automa players win, you must declare for it in a soft, slightly artificial, and very condescending voice, "I am the timeless queen." You declare this for it since a stack of cardboard can't talk. The Automa player has a variant way to play called foreshadowing. Instead of waiting for the council phase to draw each Automa player's 3 cards, reveal them as you go. Draw 1 card for Automas before each flip of the purple timer. Newly drawn cards will stack on them to slowly create their reward stacks. This will still end with them having 3 cards drawn, but since they come out slowly during the real-time phase, it gives the human players a better way to plan and play against it. Keep the rulebook handy and check BoardGameGeek.com for FAQs and extra content. Check the video description for links to Top Shelf Gamer for token upgrades, Cloud Puncher Games for board game shelving, and Mr. Meeple t-shirts for cool board gaming shirts. The Meeple Mentor channel is now part of the board game community, the Gateway Network, made up of great upcoming board game content creators. Originally founded by the Gamecasters podcast, the network includes Instagrammers, podcasters, YouTubers, artists, and even a board game themed comedy series. Click the link in the video's description or head over to the Gateway Network's Instagram to find great new content. Thanks for watching this tutorial. Like and subscribe if you found this teaching helpful. Stick around to watch another Learn to Play video. And remember, teach when you can, but always be learning. See you next time.